Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, and today we are meeting for a conversation about guilt. And the aspect that I want to talk about is why guilt is so addictive, especially for women and then especially for moms. I was having a conversation yesterday with one of my friends, and we got deeper into guilt, and it just made me realize it's not that it's hard to live without guilt, but there is an aspect of guilt that makes it very addictive. It is one of the harder, I would say, level of darkness to let go than any other. And there is a book I want to share with all of you, if I can find it right in front of me. Yep, right here. So this book is called Power versus Force. Very, very famous book, um, by David Hawkins. But I want to share with you something from this book, and that is this chart. If the light works, if you can see it. So right here is guilt, and then there's shame. So then there's anger, um, then there's grief, fear, desire, anger. So this is called the map of consciousness, and there are some numbers next to it. If you don't have this book, get it from library. I highly, highly recommend reading this book and going through it. So shame is at 20. So 20 is like, the number that they are using, and guilt is at 30. So shame is the lowest, and guilt is tiny bit higher than it. These are the two lowest frequencies you can hold on to in your energy field. And when we have a lower frequency in our energy field, it just brings us down so much faster. If you're feeling blissful and you get angry, you come to 150. But if you're feeling blissful and then you go into guilt, you are at 30. So you can see how what a big difference is. Then we want to look at like the higher frequencies. So love is at 500, joy is at 540, and peace is at 600. And then there's that enlightenment level, which is 700 to 1,000. So let's talk about guilt. When we engage in guilt as an adult, it is something that has happened as a child. It's a learned behavior. There's no child that comes in the world feeling guilty. So if you do feel guilty, it's a learned behavior. This is not a behavior that you picked up now in your 30s, 40s, or 50s. This is something you picked up when you were most likely a baby. Could be an energy you picked up from your mom. It was maybe an energy that was transferred to you by making you feel guilty. So it feels a part of you. So let's say you come to me and we are having a conversation and I'm helping you separate yourself from the guilt. You're going to hold on to it like your safety blankie or like your pacifier that you cannot live without because it has been with you your whole life. You don't even know how to exist or operate without it. People who engage in guilt, they say like, but then how will I keep a check on me? As if that is the only way they can control and manipulate themselves. There are many ways we do that. But why there is a need to keep a check on you? Because someone has taught you or told you or conditioned you to believe that you need to keep a check on yourself, otherwise you'll go rogue. Isn't that such a destructive thought process to keep within us for ourselves? So we are then our foundation is there's something wrong with me and I need to keep myself in check. But that is not the truth of our soul. So since it has been with us since we were little, and we cannot even recall a time when we didn't have guilt, it becomes part of who you are. So if you're someone who is deep and heavy into guilt and you want to heal it, it requires letting go of that part, healing that part that can only feel safe when it's in guilt. It doesn't know how else to exist. So sometime while we are doing this work, I remember I did that work back in 2021 with my mentor. It almost felt like I have left half of me behind. And a part of me wanted to go back and reconnect. But once I stayed on the course discovering who can I be if there's no guilt, how would I self-regulate? How would I motivate myself if there's no guilt? Or so-called keeping check on yourself, how I will keep a check on myself or stay in touch with myself if there's no guilt. Those are the new skills that you get to build. And let's say at one point you do move beyond guilt. What do you get to experience? You get to experience your true essence. It's the part of you that existed before anyone conditioned you to do anything, and that is the purity of your soul. Now, only people who have a deep desire to taste that are the one who get to work through the guilt and shame because they are the lowest frequencies. They were introduced to us in the lowest of our years, like their youngest years, they were introduced to us. And we have lived with them our whole life, and we don't know who we are without them and beyond them. But I can share with you, I mean, I would consider I am pretty much on the other side of guilt. I never say we are ever 100% in anything, there's always another layer. But given the layers that I have worked through, no one can make me feel guilty. And when a person does that, like, they're throwing that at me, and then I don't engage in guilt. I just take everything. Oh, okay, you're upset about this. You wanted me to do this. I didn't do this. Let me look at it without feeling guilty, without going into like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I didn't do it and now I won't get accepted. Now this person is going to reject me. Without going into that, I can reevaluate myself and I can honestly communicate. This is what I am capable of doing right now, and this is what I am not capable of doing right now. So we can build very healthy expectations in our relationships when there's no guilt involved. For example, my son loves apple pie, and I love to make them at home. He would want me to have an apple pie every day on dinner table and he can eat the whole thing. Now, he will come from a place, you can't even do that for me. That is guilt. And I will look at him and I will say, yes, I cannot do that for you right now, but I can do it on the weekend without going into, oh my God, I'm so busy. I can't even do that for my son. Like without going into all that guilt. So when the other person can present their case to you, you can have an honest communication with them without you feeling bad, without making them feeling bad. Because when we stop engaging in guilt, we stop making other people feel guilty. And I do highlight it to my son like that is where you're going. Don't go there. That is something I am consistently teaching him too, to not engage with guilt, but it's given to him from other adults, from friends, from teachers, because it's thrown at us. But I can do that only for him while I am more aware of it and I am working through it. Now imagine living life where you're not manipulating and controlling people through guilt and no one else is manipulating and controlling you through guilt. How would your relationship would look like? Another layer to that is people cannot control you anymore. When we engage in guilt, your mom is going to give you one phone call. She's going to throw that guilt net. You're going to grab it. The next thing you know, you're doing something that you didn't want it to do. You don't feel like doing it. You're going against your will. You're feeling resentful towards your parent and you're screaming and moaning and kicking while you're doing that task. And at the end, you feel drained. Now, on the other hand, how it would look like your mom would call, she'll say something, you'll have an honest communication because you have left that identity behind or you have worked through it or you have healed it and reconnected with yourself and feel a little bit more whole now. So you can show up in your relationship as a more complete version of you. And my friend, that inspires the person you're talking to. It completely changes their life too. It is healing to the other person too when you don't engage in guilt. But the reason it's so addictive and our whole society runs based on it, whole society runs based on it because it's addictive, because it provides safety, it provides familiar, it provides a sense of I am doing something. At least I'm feeling guilty about what I did. At least I'm doing something. My friend, your guilt is not going to change anything for anybody. All it's going to do is drain your energy and suck all the light out of you, and then you can't really benefit the universe. It's not just the world or humanity. Our presence is a gift to the universe. So then you go from a light bulb to being a light bulb that's not working. That is what guilt does for us. So I want to invite you to look within yourself and become honest about that guilt that sits within you. Become honest about it. At least accept it's there instead of just listening to it and be like, nope, no guilt here. I'm above and beyond it. Accept it and start asking yourself, what would my life look like if there's no guilt? How would I operate if I let go of the guilt for all the things that have happened in my life up until now? Who will I become if I don't hold any guilt in my energy field? Who will I become? Get curious. And if you're ready to do that work, you can reach out to me. I would love to be your guide to help you discover who you are in your truth beyond the layers of guilt and shame because they take away your light. You go out, you operate, you achieve things, and you think you're doing these amazing things. I can tell you, if there's no guilt or shame sucking your light away, you can do 1,000 more than what you're doing right now, more than ever before. The world needs your unique light. It needs my unique light. It's our job to take off the layers that cover our light. Guilt and shame are the thickest layers that we can work through, and we can reveal that light. We can discover who I am in my true essence. So if this resonates with you, if you know someone else who indulge in guilt and shame, please share this with them. And if you're ready, please reach out to me. Comment wherever you're watching it, and I would love to be your guide. I'll be back tomorrow with another topic. Sending you so much love. Bye.